recorded, ended. Anyways, hello, anyone who might be there. How are you? And additionally, if you are, watching the VOD, the timestamp for the actual time when we play will be in the description below. So yeah. We live? Okay, not sure if you got that. I'll repeat myself again. Hi, anyone. We live? Watching? Yeah. Okay, not sure if you got that. I'll repeat. Okay, so those who are watching the VOD, timestamp is in the below. So you can actually see the game playing. I'm just waiting here for the pre-ramble, as one does. Hello, Close Down Channel. I hope you're doing well. We're just gonna wait for a bit in the preamble for people to come in and before we play. So in 2 minutes we'll get ahead. Otherwise, have you been? I've asked the question I know. Okay, stream might lag out just a bit. I've been good. How about you? I'm pretty good. I'm nearly finished with Veilguard, which means I need to finish with my footage for Veilguard, which means I can actually start writing the script for it much more in full. I've written like about 15,000 words for Veilguard currently, and it's a lot. I have a lot of thoughts on it, and it's been very difficult for me to sort of like put my thoughts into words, especially after like two much better video essays came out, one by Echo Bazaar and one by Noah Calder-Gervais. So I'm much more. It's very hard for me to say something in a way that's not just copying the format. But I think I'm getting to it, right? I've been framing it as like my thoughts and on Veilguard, and my thought is that it's a good game, but it's mired with missed opportunities. You know. And so I've been taking that angle a bit more, which I think is like working for me, if that makes sense. And also, I have a question as well. I'll do like a poll later on. I agree with that. Oh, cool then. Which is, I need, because I've been seeing other people play Culture, and this always happens to me. Whenever my brother like plays any Bioware game like that I'm not playing currently, I'm kind of like, mayhaps I should try that game again. It's an internal conundrum of you want to play Mass Effect all over again, do the same choices, do the same everything, but you just want to play it again. And I'm getting that with KOTOR. I'm like, okay, I might as well start KOTOR. And I wanted to ask if it'd be cool if we can do a KOTOR live stream, because I think that'd be pretty cool, actually. Okay. I am live. I wish Velgard had a City Elf Rebellion, even though it's not directly led by Solus, and also I do wonder if the KOTOR remake is actually going to happen. The teamwork on it has said it is, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, my thoughts are on the same sort of position on the KOTOR thing, which is like, I don't know if it's ever going to happen. And additionally, I don't even know how it will be remade, right? So, like, we're remaking, like, an older game like Baldur's Gate 1, I think is a lot easier to do because Baldur's Gate 1 was a lot of impressions and the level design wasn't really that specific, right? It didn't need to be that specific, you know? But, um, but KOTOR has a lot more defined levels and structure and everything like that because it actually uses its three-dimensional spaces in a much more interactive way than like Baldur's Gate did, which was just you have point A and point B, and this like pretty stuff on the ground, but it's not really the point of it. You know, encounters aren't really like made with the idea of geometry in mind, right? Somewhat it is, but like not as explicitly. So it's hard for me to kind of grasp. You know, like, oh, how does that work? You know, so how will towers be made in KOTOR? And additionally, like, will they just do a direct like one-to-one with some changes, minor changes here and there, or will they like legitimately do a like full-on blown changing everything? And I don't know. I don't know. But as for like the Veilguard thing, I wish there was like a lot more because I remember so vividly what I wanted to see was the how the elves were going to be involved so heavily into this one, where we would get to see like direct like oppression and Solus leading it, you know, and stuff like that. It's so vivid in my mind, and I would love to see more of it, you know. Yeah, and that's one of the things I will mention in my like Veilguard video. Though my Veilguard video I think is gonna be around about an hour or two, which is a lot for me. My longest video is on Baldur's Gate 3. It's a lot. It feels like the Danish elves get more. Yeah, which does kind of suck. My favorite like two origins, right, are Dwarf Commoner and and City Elf, right? And one of the reasons why is not just like is it's not just like the interactions you have with like family characters, but also the sort of oppression and how you can rise above it. You know, how you can be a much more influential figure, uh, despite your status. You know. Anyways, we're gonna start soon. Oh boy, I apologize. I don't know. Oh boy. Um, I think KOTOR Remake should have a voice protagonist for one. I agree. I think anyone who thinks that like Revan isn't basically just like a proto shepherd is like so dumb. Like I like especially KOTOR is so much more cinematic, and you play as literally a defined protagonist. You know, while you have Amnesia, right? It's that sort of like um, it's a sort of implication and like outright statement that oh no, is it lagging? Oh please don't lag. Okay, if it's lagging, sorry. Let me start that. Yeah, I agree. KOTOR should have a voice protagonist because like you literally are playing as a defined protagonist. Like Ria, you have Amnesia, but like the whole contrasting of like literally the big plot reveal of you being Revan is framed as, oh, you now get to sort of like have a legitimate pivot to whether you be a light side character or a dark side character because of this revelation. Maybe you're dark side and then you pivoted to a light side because you revealed that like, oh, the reason I'm, you know, so dark side is because of my underlying biases from before, you know. So it makes so much more sense, you know. Hey, Zoltan. Also, hey. It feels like Elf Pretax gets mixed up. I think Velgard should have had you as a Dalish, while Inquisition should have had you as a City Elf. I don't think that would be a bad idea, especially because it would make a lot more sense. Hold on. Okay. Stream's gonna be a bit weird, sorry. I'm gonna try to do something quickly to solve that issue. Encoder overload. Consider turning down video settings or using faster encoder preset. Oh my gosh. Then again, it's so weird. Saber, of all people, were making this remake. Yeah, it is weird. I don't get it. Saber has like, I don't even think, I can't remember the other games that Saber has made. You know, like legitimately. Okay. I don't know. Now my computer is actually very slow. I hate technology, man. I hate technology. The bane of my existence. Uh... I looked it up, and apparently they worked on a strange variety of games from MK1. Yeah, I was gonna look that up quickly. Obviously you guys aren't gonna be able to see it, but yeah, we're due for a new Dark Age. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Zeroton, but I do think we are due for a new Dark Age. Okay. There's a lot of reasons to think we're due for a new Dark Age. Yeah, they worked on 3 realms, big. Oh wait, no, these are subsidiaries. Yeah, here's the Scotch on it. Yeah. Yeah, Saber Interactive. Will Rock, Time Shift, Battle of Los Angeles, Halo Combat Evolve Anniversary, Inversion, God Mode, RIPD the game, NBA, World of Speed. Yeah, Armored Warfare, World of Warriors, Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn. It's so weird that they were like gonna make the only no, that's it. That was more Focus Home, right? Vampire. They made Space Marine 2. That's weird, man. That doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like they should make that, you know? Also, yeah, it's so weird. They're working on a Warhammer game, but I haven't seen any RPGs in their list. Yeah, that is weird. Like, Aspyr at least worked on the KOTOR remasters, so it made more sense for them to actually, you know, make it because they were familiar with the engine and sort of idea of it. But no, it's just like, okay, they're there, you know. It's so weird to me. Yeah, they did the Tomb Raider remasters, which is weird. Like, what? They're gonna do an Avatar: The Last Airbender game. They're doing something called Turok Origins. They're doing Space Marine 3. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Well, no, yeah, they are doing it. They're developing it. I'm so confused with this studio. Yeah, I just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they make bad games, I guess, but I am curious on like I don't know. I'm just curious. Weird. Anyways, I've dilly-dallied long enough. Okay, let's actually play the game. They made and now they're making a remake for a D&D based RPG. Yeah, which is weird. That's loud. Ooh, I love it when my computer is very slow. I'm not sure if you guys can feel it. I'll see it. Oh boy. Ooh boy. The crimes of being a low end user. But I wonder what they're gonna do with it. I think Space Marine 2 is like very faithful to the original Space Marine one. And if they have the same mindset, maybe they can do a very good Space Marine. I mean, a KOTOR one. Back at it. Okay, Josh Sawyer, please let this game run well. Dual-wielding melee weapons offers the fastest attack rate, but lacks the per-hit damage of two-handed weapons, the accuracy of single one-handed weapons, and the deflection bonus of fighting with a shield. I have no idea what that means. What? If they do a KOTOR remake, I hope we get more customization than just choosing a model. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's like the obvious like one to remake is like give us an actual character creator instead of just like us choosing some preset faces, you know. Which I think would be a good similar stream is lagging. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. I wonder why it's lagging. Like one to remake is like give us an actual character instead of just like I wonder why it's lagging. Let me investigate. Encoder overloading, consider turning down video settings or using faster encoder. Okay. Settings. It was working so fine last time. Hello? Okay. Okay, what is it? Output? And what is like a slower... Is it working now? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to turn it off. For some reason, I think Pillars of Eternity is giving me some issues. Okay, it's good now. Yep. Yeah, but Pillars of Eternity ended. Boy. Whoa, you're not supposed to see this. This is the back end. Black Void. Cannot unveil the facade. I don't know why it was lagging so much. Like, it worked fine the other time. I literally changed nothing. Okay. Please, Josh Sawyer, please let this work, okay? Okay, so it's registering the games there. I can see the little finger thing. So I don't know why. Okay. 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 I respect. Let me play the game. Okay, druids have a wide variety of area effect defensive spells. They also have the ability to transform into animalistic spirit shift form, giving them potent melee powers. Neat. Okay. It's working. Thank goodness. Please keep working. Is where we on? Oh yeah, KOTOR. Yeah, I think the KOTOR remake will be cool. If they sort of like understand like the fundamental idea of what like KOTOR is. Like about, you know, and like, I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so that's the main one against the grain. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna have to go after that one. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to this.
Hello.
Help. Let me see if I work this. Level 1, level 2 adventure. No way, man.
Hail and well met.
I'd like a room, please. Certainly, you're always welcome. Okay, so I'm gonna get this one, so I can get the resolve bonus. Yes. Your sleep is breathless and fervid, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in a front of gilded veils gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Also, I gave Baldur's Gate 3 another try, and I think it does an incredibly bad job at introducing the world and making me care about anything that is going on. Yeah, that's like true for like all Larian games. Larian games start very abruptly, you know. The other ones that I kind of don't is maybe the first two ones, Divine Divinity and Beyond Divinity, but even then they're still more abrupt than like Bioware games, you know. Like what is it? Dragon Commander starts very abruptly. It literally says like your dad's dead, your siblings are bickering, and now you're the only one who can unify the world. Like, okay, sure. Divinity 2, Ego Draconis, it literally is like, so you're a dragon slayer, and you're hunting the lost dragon. Go ahead, buddy. It's like, okay. Yeah, then Divinity Original Sin 1 is literally like, you're on a ship, you get crashed, there you go. Same with Divinity Original Sin 2. Like, the game, they just never introduce their worlds, you know? Larian's interest is not in world building, it's more of, like, player, like, choice, you know, which is fine. But it does mean that, like, you don't really get a good impression of their world, you know? Like, for all the people praise of Larian, right, you will never hear them praise, like, the Divinity series, world building and lore, as much as they do, like, Pillars of Eternity or Dragon Age. It's interesting. Which I hope they kind of rectify in the newer game. Like, they actually try to introduce, you know, the world. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarven woman whose face is shriveled inward like molding fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side as you look at her. She looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly her head snaps up and her eyes open, and they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air she speaks a word. Watch her. Yeah, I agree, Zoltan. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarven woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman, you remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new, unqueasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see the woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead.
Certainly.
You're the dog guy? I'm the dog guy. Oh no. Stream's going. Okay. I have to take drastic measures. Sorry guys, you thought it was a low quality before. You're gonna go to the maximum low quality. Yeah, there's so much stuff going on and I'm like, huh? Yeah. Also the atmosphere is so boring. Yeah, I think the initial atmosphere on the Mind Flayer is really good. But like the atmosphere, I don't know. I wouldn't say I'd say it's generic in a bad way, right? It's not like it's generic, but it's done well. I think it's generic, but it's done poorly, you know? Because like nothing really compels me to really understand the Forgotten Realms. The interesting parts of it, like the Githyanki, they're cool and whatnot, but like I don't feel like the game's like making me feel like I want to know about them. It feels like I'm interested in the game. I'm interested in the Githyanki despite what the game is doing. You know, I tried DOS 2 and being a DA fan, the look of the elves came as an unwelcome surprise, but at least they look interesting, I guess. Yeah, I love how Larian did their like elves and lizard. I think they look absolutely fantastic, you know, personally. But like, I don't really feel like it's that compelling, like lore-wise, you know. It's a cool like blurb description of they're like psychopaths, you know, the elves, which is cool. But I don't really feel that because the game never like explains it to me. It wouldn't have sold.
Gods
anything.
keep you.
But I might be a latent Baldur's Gate 3. It wouldn't have sold. Yeah. No, I get you. I get you. I don't think I think I was a Baldur's Gate 3 hater, but that's because like people kept saying like it's better than Dragon Age, which I don't think it is. You know, they're both different kind of games. But yeah, it wouldn't have solved anything. Yeah, like DAO is generic as hell too, but it has an atmosphere and a captivating one. Yeah, it's generic in a good way, right? I think that's a good way to say it. Like it's generic, but it's done well. You know. Okay. If you want those people in here with torches, maybe you ought to stop lying to me. Okay, I want to see what this... It's not like, the stores really are low. And with so little grain going around, I had to raise some prices for some people. There are folks in this town that deserve far better than Swinner and his lot. People who have done more than good. People like the Magister. I can't do anything in that. That's just how it works. Maybe things are different elsewhere. Here, Redrick's men, they keep the village safe, so they eat well. What do you mean? When his rest, so they have always been troublemakers, loud, drunken fools, lad to women with them. Her soul traces back to in the Richard Brigade, as it shows. We have a good people in the town, people still hanging on to what's left. They deserve a little more, that's all I'm saying. Moments, I got a grand for you. Sure, they sure didn't mind losing their gain when it was into drinks. Okay. No. I think I'll still help them, right? I'm not gonna, like... Because, like, those guys are not reacting very well. So I think it's fair to be like, okay, man. I don't think it's bad that, you know, we're gonna tell them to, like, fuck off, you know, basically. Because they don't really like, not that they don't deserve it, but like they aren't helping the situation, and he's in a desperate sort, you know. So I think it's fine. I don't know. I've seen there's scenes with the Pale Lady Tens. It's been so cool to have a voice protagonist. Yeah, Close End Journal. I feel like, and this is the weird thing because like they were gonna have somewhat of a voice protagonist in Baldur's Gate 3. Which was your character was going to speak instead of the narrator. And I think that's like very interesting. You know, like, oh yeah, that would have been cool to see. But obviously people are like, no. Like, apparently people's issues was it being in past tense. Which is like, okay. I guess that is an issue that it being in past tense kind of implies that like the story is over and not like presently happening, going on, like it's a foregone conclusion, which I guess is fine, but like I don't know. I think the dirge at least should have been voiced, because the dirge like feels like it could have used being a voice protagonist, especially because like I woke up because at the end of the game your character talks for a bit. I woke up in that moment and think like, oh my gosh, and my character actually speaks. I feel real, you know. I feel like my character belongs in this world. Damn, who knew? Yeah. Zoltan, you and I are in the similar mindset. Like, I would have forgiven a lot of grievances of a bunch of other games if I just had a voice protagonist. You know, otherwise I'm like, yeah. Voice protagonist? I'm okay, buddy. I'm okay. I'm not saying I'm against the voice protagonist. I'm more saying that there are problems to fix in the games before introducing a voice protagonist. Oh, I meant closing channel, not Zoltan. My apologies. Mix those two up. But no, I can understand you, Zoltan. Like, a voice protagonist is obviously nice to have, but like there are issues to having one. Yeah, that's what I would prefer. Gamers having beef with tenses, truly a gamer moment. Yeah, and even then, I don't even think that was the issue. I think the real issue was that they just didn't want to have it, you know, and they were like looking up for excuses. And Larian, like always, kind of bowed down to them. Don't you know who you are and don't much care? Keep walking. We're not here to chat with foreigners. Careful. Looks like they're cut from the same cloth as those rowdies who attacked me. He wrinkles his nose. Smells like him too. Tumble says you've been threatening his family. Oh, I bet he has. All nobility, that Trumbull. Two big, strong kids. Purest soul in all of Gilded Vale. Cowards sending out messages to handle his business. Well, you can go tell him we haven't had a solid meal in days on account of him, and we can't afford a good drink on account of him. We won't be bullied by some foreigner on account of him. You drunken menace, I'm putting you down. Okay. What if I buy you all around? Well, will you talk to me then? Fair enough. You bring us something to wet our throats, and we might beef, I feel, trade goods. Do they buy drinks? Okay, I have to actually go physically buy drinks. What a game. Game of the century. I have to buy the drinks. Oh, there. I'd like to buy a round for the fine fellows over there. Perhaps if I can keep them talking, I might be able to convince them to stop harassing the fine fellows you're having me on. Any more fighting and I'll have to ban Sawyer from entirely. Until then, it's 6 pieces for the law. It's six copper. I'm not. Yeah. Here are the 3 drinks for the 3 fools. Just take care of them. They're a hot-tempered bunch.
Greetings.
Hey, sir. So you have, by the flame. I never thought I'd be so happy for a mug of Black Hound's shit beer. Gods, that's good. Oh, alright then, you got my attention. What is it you've got so much? Look, there's no sense in threatening the miller. You have him up against the wall. Maybe you could ask some of the other villagers for help. Maybe you can tell me more about what's going on. Like I said, the miller's in charge of the grain prices. He says they're fair, but I know for the fact that folks are like, offer to pay half for what we do. And maybe we've been a bit rough with them, but what are we supposed to do? We can't keep paying. We're going to starve. And do you think Tumble's going to be sorry about it when we do? Eyes for a long few moments, drinking deep from his mug. Then he sighs. You're right. Things go on like they are. We're just going to end up hanging from that tree out there. I'm sorry, man. Don't know what we'll do now with the crops failing. Haven't got another trade to speak of. I think Baraska needs a hand around here. I feel bad. It obviously does suck. Oh, that sucks, man. You know, I'm here with a very mild cold take. The Last of Us 2 might be one of the best games ever made.
Good day, stranger.
What a take, you know. The big controversial for this stream. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a cool game. I haven't played The Last of Us 2. I'd like to, though I do think it's interesting the direction it went. I thought the obvious direction I thought the direction it would take would be Joel and Ellie are like going around the whole like infected business is getting a lot more treacherous, and then eventually Ellie finds out that Joel lied to her, you know, like actually confronted with him, finds out they've been lied to. It's like, okay, some conflict there, and it goes from there, you know. I thought that's where it was gonna go, but it went in a different direction, which isn't bad. But it's interesting. Why do you like it, Zero Ton? Games like Pillars and Oblivion really make you thankful for all the VAs devs got for new games. I'm not sure what you mean, Goes in general. I'm not sure what you mean. If you're saying that like, oh, it's cool that that we have like good voice actors, and yeah, I agree, you know. I'm not sure if that's what you mean.
Gods keep you.
There's elements of that actually. Okay, then maybe I spoke a bit too soon. I'll have to try it then myself. I saw a video that says that Ellie realizes Joel lied at the end of the first game. I mean, yeah, like, so at the end of the first game, like, when Joel says, like, oh, no, they found someone else, right? Ellie kind of knew he was lying, but didn't know exactly what he did. If it was just a simple, like, they parted ways, or not that Joel, like, murdered everyone. So she was unsure of what happened, you know? Unvoiced NPCs are my main thing. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you. Like, it just adds so much to the world when you can actually hear the characters speak, you know? It's a game that makes being a war criminal fun. Also, the story's incredible. I love when video games make me have a great time as a war criminal, okay? Genociding, child soldiering, it's all great stuff. And what did he say? I'm convinced him to leave your family in peace. What, really? That's great news. I wasn't sure you'd get through to him. They're out of their mind with drink half the time. I owe you a great debt here. Today's earnings to show my appreciation, and you can be sure I'll let everyone know you did for me. Keep it. You've had a hard time enough. Your generous soul, friend, and you'll have to thank. I'll have you to thank for making it through the coming years. Safe travels, and may you find favor with the gods. Now that's what I call being a good character. Well, farmers, think you can. I don't know what we would have done without you. We had to convince them. Last thing we needed is a grain store burned down by a drunk. Thank you. You've given a good chance to turn things around. I do wonder what happens to the other guy though. So with that, I think we will go and actually to the tree. A child? I said we're supposed to go to the temple. Papa says we're not supposed to. Yeah, kid. Hello, Matt Mercer. Welcome to our lovely village. Thank you, Matt Mercer. The squat, disdained body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from the thin, crooked bough that sags at the tug of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it, not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out toward the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with a new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you have expanded enough to reach her, there's a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing, electric surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and you feel being pulled down to some deeper consciousness, in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman, and when you open them again, she is staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog. Her body is still swaying in the wind till you no longer feel from a tree that stands planted in a misty void. The woman gives a slow nod of her head, the robe creaking as she does, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear, or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes?
Am I imagining this? How am I able to speak to you? I need to understand something that happened to me. I think I survived at Bjerg. Do you know what that would be?
No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy, even. To not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I, wherever here may be.
How are you able to speak to me?
Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice.
I need to understand something that happened to me. She nods, a look of pity on her face, as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
What's a watcher? Now that is some logic, Zanchana, okay? Ellie can't be a war crime because there's no war that's actually being ongoing. Therefore, Ellie can't be a war criminal. Just facts, logic. I see. What's a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, though. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair, and here we are visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times.
No, I get you, Zoltan, you being hyperbolic.
Souls pass on, some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it. Sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on. And those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either living or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how.
Yeah, Zoltan. I mean, like, I imagine what she does is something similar to that, you know? Being a lesbian. Ah, yes, the greatest war crime of all, being a lesbian. Oh, the stream's lagging. Okay.
A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well. A wonder!
I watch the seas knows all, some memories the owner can't recall. A wonder to behold and well wonder. Know where they've been in ages past when their body were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. They know a person just by looking at them. They know where they've been in. Oh, okay. What do you mean when?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping. You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
Okay, why is it lagging now? Dropped frames, that's a lot of drop frames. Okay, sorry, stream's gonna lag for a moment as I try to do something about this. Okay. Stream come back to me. Stream come back to me. Stream come back to me. Yeah, I think the stream's come back to me. Okay. I think it's fine. Drop frames, it's all drop frames. Okay. Kadnua. No, she's definitely didn't date him. It's only Joel though, Eddie liked him. So they were a little awkward start, they broke up and then... Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know for about Ellie is like that she's a lesbian, and that's it. She's a lesbian and a woman, okay? That's all I know, okay?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no?
Souls break over time.
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again, but less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. No. A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think. Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
Another cryptid old lady? Obsidian? You're pulling this trick again. Kara, perhaps? It was Diane who dated Jesse, not Ellie. Okay, I haven't played Last of Us in a long time, okay? I'm forgetting these names, okay? All I remember is Ellie, Joel, and like 2 dudes who killed themselves. That's all I remember. I mean, well, there are 3 dudes that killed themselves, so... Who are you?
And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi, of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but I came here all the same because this was where help was needed.
What happened to you? She laughs, a rasping, choked cackle, and escaped between rows of buttery yellow teeth, causing her body to bob up and down with each spasm. Seeing your blank expression, she catches herself.
Oh, come now. Such a question. As though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found?
Tell me.
Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord. She is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up.
What's an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations, miracle workers. My parents were soul twins, miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other, turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian republics for
Deerwood,
many
not Drywood,
things.
okay.
But their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear.
For many things, but recent.
Of course, dear.
Farewell.
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Caldara closes her eyes and her head slumps forward over the news, and your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. Selena was granted Crucible of Soul. Are you alright? You seemed lost now. I'm a watcher. Yes, I'm fine. Oh, just whoever, I'm a watcher. Well, this is interesting. And I expect there's something to do with the hooded figures in the ruins, In any case, since we're traveling together, it's probably ways for us to share these things. Do you know anything about Watchers? Only that they are rare and that they seem to have unique insights into certain soul conditions, as just demonstrated. Let's continue on.
Yes?
With thousands of years of history and tradition behind us, and their sense of dignity and responsibility that comes with us. Of course, there's baggage as well. Our imperial past is still fresh in our minds, as many as you may have noticed here. Has been difficult to adjust to Deerwood. People here are informal, hot-blooded, more attentive to insult than duty. But as long as one avoids provocation, it's easy enough to get along. I've gotten accustomed enough to keep my thoughts to myself. How long were you in the Gilded Vale? Not much longer than you, as you saw. It was hardly a haven that had been advertised. Any thoughts on what I should do next? Well, you're in charge, and as far as I'm concerned, any place is better than Gilded Vale.
Certainly.
17 and a half.
The smell of pipe smoke at once earthy, sweet winds its ways into your nostrils. Your eyes trace the smoke to its origins, where you find a broad man with straw-colored hair leaning against a mossy rock wall, his pipe held to his lips with one meaty hand. He looks at you directly in your eyes, but the look is not aggressive. He regards you with a particular smile.
17 and a half. Well, could be 18, depending on how you count the dwarf woman.
I'm sorry, what are you talking
The
about?
people hanging from the tree. 18 of them. Well, last I counted, anyway.
Is that what you people do here for fun? Do around here?
Name's Adair. Though to the people around here, might as well be 19. Don't think I'd put you much higher than 22, 23 tops. You look like the sort that likes to get involved.
What was the
dwarf
about
woman.
the dwarf?
You were trying to figure out whether to count her as a full person. I think you oughta.
What makes you think I was interested in the dwarf woman? He looks at you a moment, his brow arched, his smirk broadens.
I was smoking over here, saw you staring at her. Twice I refilled my pipe. You never so much as blinked. Your mouth was so slack I took you for a Radric at first.
Do you know what a watcher is?
Careful, friend. Best not use that word round here. Could be any number of Radric bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers. Same thing in the eyes of folks around here, Radric especially. They come through these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be. Of course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense.
None taken. You think you're going to be hanged?
The town's had it in for me for a long time now. Only fellow who ever stuck up for me, well, he's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war.
The war? That's messed up, what he said about the dwarf. I mean, yeah, it is a bit messed up, but like, you can definitely tell this guy is also messed up in his own way. So it feels like it's a bit normal for him to say, you know. The war? Oh. Saints War. Only one in my lifetime. Fella decides he's the living incarnation of Eothas, overthrows Redrusians, marches on Deerwood, so we gave him a Deerwoodian hello. What's a Deerwoodian hello?
Boom up.
He smiles at this, but it's a smile of one recounting a joke for the effect rather than the enjoyment. Who's Eothas? God of rebirth and redemption. Formerly anyhow. Maybe they call him something different to where you're from. I got time. What was your headman hanged? Why was your headman hanged? Got involved. Frederick sent men down here the other day, said that he had, on a good authority, someone in town was working with Kolska, plotting Radric's overthrow. Said if he didn't come forward right then and there, they'd hang every last one of us. No one was coming forward, so Suthin, my headman, he steps up and says it's him. They took him at his word. Bound to happen sooner or later, if not for the plotting against Redrick, then for protecting him. Protecting me. What does your town have against you?
Pick the wrong god. That's what it comes down to. Used to be a lot of Aethys worshippers in Gilded Vale. That mess of rocks over there, that was a temple to him, to give you some idea. Then one day, somebody named Widewind shows up on Deerwood's doorstep. Says he's the living flesh of Aethys. Got an army with him. Suddenly, Aethys isn't so popular in these parts. My brother Woden and me, neither of us believed it. No way was that Aethys. He enlisted, and then I did too. But, he didn't make it back. After the war, people took to punishing Aethys worshippers, accusing them of treason. Got real ugly, especially after the Legacy started. Folks needed someone to blame. I was safe because I fought, but then this rumor starts that my brother, that he was on the wrong side. And I wasn't so safe anymore. Until my headman stepped in and said they'd have to hang him to get to me. Seems that's no longer a concern. Of course, the townies don't do the hanging these days, but when Raedrick's men come, they got no problem doing the pointing.
You can see why I was so eager to leave. Yeah, who's Kolska? Someone got tired of all the hanging. He's on the run now. Probably will be till they catch him. If you're next to be hanged, what are you still doing here? Drinking mostly. Point of fact, I'm on my way out, just haven't figured where I'm going yet. Not a whole lot of places out there that I don't think Wyden's legacy started with Wyden. We could travel together. Where are you headed? Some place called Caed No? I can't pronounce things. There's an old watcher there who might be able to help
Seem
me.
to remember hearing something about that years ago. He tamed that place. People would seek him out for all kinds of things. Troubles of the soul, questions for the departed. Of course, that was back when you didn't have to say watcher with a hush on your breath. A man such as that, there'd be things I'd want to ask him. Don't know why I never thought of it before. Not sure how
That's
I
because you
feel
don't have
about
the
setting
protagonist
out
on
with a
your side.
stranger. And a strange one at that. But, truth be told, you might be the only one in town who wouldn't feel some relief seeing me swing from that tree.
There's a fine reason if I had ever had one.
All right, then. Guess I'll do some sightseeing. Long as you're not the one picking the sights.
He tilts his head forwards and gives you a pointed look.
Certainly.
Nice! Oh, that old watcher's still there. Been years since I heard anything about him. What is it you want to ask the watcher in Caed No? Just some things about my past, about the war. I've been thinking I missed my chance to find out what I wanted to know. That old watcher, though, he opens up some new possibilities. I want to ask you something about you, if you're sure. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love this. My favorite thing in an RPG, okay? Asking a whole lot of questions. What did you do before this?
Oh, other than the war, I never strayed too far from where you found me. Farming, mostly. I was never much for cities. Never learned a trade. In my younger days, I thought I was going to go preach the word of Aethys. Just in our temple there. My parents encouraged it. I made so much trouble for them growing up. They used to say it'd be best if I got in good with the God of Redemption. Of course, us blowing him up probably didn't help my chances there. But if anybody'd forgive you for blowing him up, it'd be Aethys.
Did the people of Gilded Vale really try to kill you?
They, they did. It was strange timing, because we just won the war. They celebrated when I came home. There was music and dancing. Trumbull used half his grain making this big honey cake. I still dream about that cake. Like having the best lover of your life.
Thank you,
but
Mapmaster.
only
Thank
for
you,
one
Mapmaster.
night. They were all sorry to hear about my brother.
Madmaster be praised, okay? The man's a prolific voice actor. A good one at that.
Took a while for word of the purges to reach us. Aethasians being murdered in the streets, Cold Morn and the like. No way would they let something like that happen in Gilded Vale. That's what they all said. But the weeks went by and the purges spread. Pretty soon they weren't so sure my brother fought for Deerwood. And they weren't so sure I did. Caught me by surprise after all the celebrating. Should have seen it coming after the tailor said he was gonna fit me for some new clothes, but then all he wanted was my neck measurement.
Really?
Nah, not that last part. But you had to think about it. Says a lot about the place I've been calling home all these years.
Why did you stay for so long in a town that hated you?
I'm sure my parents are still wondering the same thing. The Aethasian purges were like this madness had come over the town, like a disease. Seems like when you see something like that, your instinct is to wait for it to pass, even when you know it probably won't. The family whose farm I worked on, they had a little Hollowborn girl. And they heard the Animancers had this cure, salvation it was called. They went running. This salvation, they were putting animal souls in children. You might have heard about it, giving them enough personality to care for themselves. Well, you can guess how that turned out. Matter of time, the children broke down, became wild things, monsters. Anyway, these farmers put the family dog's soul in their little girl. For a while, the girl, she's making eye contact, she's feeding herself, albeit in a kind of messy way. And one day she snaps. They found her gnawing on her brother's bones. Had to chain her up, put her in a cow pen. Well, the mother, she wouldn't have anything to do with the girl after that. But the father, he'd visit every day. Feed her chickens, toss water on her once in a while to get the dirt off. Most of the village, they'd whisper about him. Poor man, they'd say, sick with grief. He was just waiting for his daughter to look up one day and recognize her papa. He was waiting for her to get better. Didn't understand that at the time, of course, but these days I think about him a lot.
That sucks, man. Probably sad. Alright. Just my parents now. They took a ship back to Adur when the purge started. Wanted me to go with them, but I didn't see things like they did. Been a long time since I've seen them. I should really visit, but for some reason I just haven't felt much like leaving home. Good thing they chased me out, or I might have never left. So
What's on your mind?
I was wondering about Eoth.
It makes two of us.
What is there to know about
If
Eoth?
you're looking to find religion, maybe you want to start with a god that hasn't been burned to dust, but I won't stop you. Aethys, he was a young man with a silver crown. Carried a candle around with him. Sounds like I'm giving a bad eulogy here.
He was there. Well, he was a lot of different things to different people, I guess. Rebirth, redemption, life. Out in the country, he's gone, the farmer. Who helps all things past, seasons and people both. He watches over the week, does gone, sees imbalances made right. You could see why all coupleless roadies around here might take a liking to someone like that. It was real popular for a time. These days, you won't find too many worshippers of Eos in the open. It's hard to know who still does it in private and who's given up. I feel like I'm the last one sometimes. If that's the case, he deserves all the mourning.
In my way. I don't suppose he expects me to show up at his temple these days. Not much left to do for him other than keep his memory alive and keep hoping that he's just been playing a joke on all of us these past 15 years.
As far as I know, he hasn't said anything to anybody since Godhammer detonated. Why worship him then? Well, it turns out he's not dead, and I gave up on him. Well, if it turns out he's not dead, and I gave up on him, I'd have betrayed my god twice. Even the god of redemption's gotta have standards. I'd probably be reborn as a fat almond's horse. Androssians are offended at that comment? Yeah, man. Oh boy, man. Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't know. I like it when fantasy does like the whole religion thing. It's so interesting, you know, to see how they react, especially on like when the gods are real and how they react because of it. You know, it's quite cool. That's not really it though, not all of it anyway. Guess it's more I still believe in the things he believed in. I just hope his death doesn't mean the death of the things as well. Sometimes it looks like that. Why did you choose to worship Aethys in the beginning?
Raised that way. My family's been Aethasian going way back. Suppose it wasn't much of a choice at first. Don't know for sure why my family started worshiping him. Probably because of Gon looking after folks like us.
Could just as well be that my ancestors did something so bad only Aethys could forgive. Explain a lot of where I got some of my less respectable traits. I need to look up again. He watches over the week. It does. Out in the country, he's Gon, the farmer who helps. Okay, so that's like another aspect. Okay. I was wondering if Gon was an actual person or was it just like an aspect or something like that. Did you only worship him because that's how you were raised?
Mm-mm. There was something I genuinely liked about Aethys. Always. Like he understood people better than the other gods. Knew all our flaws and weaknesses and accepted us for that. Folks are at their worst when they're afraid. A god like Aethys, he made you realize there was nothing to fear. Made you a better person. Of course, he goes away for a few years, and look what happens.
What made you think Waden didn't speak for Aethys?
Was his actions. Not when he started his rebellion, and not even when he took over Rhaed Saris. It was when he sent his armies into Deerwood.
Up to that point, he was sticking up for his people. That's what Aethys does, at least to the Gon part of him. Those farmers were starving and the government didn't lift a finger. I figured it wasn't Aethys himself, at least he had their idea. But then he sent armies across the border, even crossed it himself in the end. World was, he was chasing refugees that escaped the rebellion. Wanted to punish them and punish us for allowing them to live here. That just didn't fit for me. Those are the deeds of a vengeful god. Seiken or Wodisia, maybe. Or just a man who'd lost his senses. I still have trouble believing it, but there's no one left to ask if it's true.
You sure you don't want to talk about something more pleasant? Like the War of Black Trees or the Legacy or something?
His eye an opening, seeing how naked you are when you've got no god to protect you. The Saints' War was a hard time to be Deerwoodian. People thought it was the end times. They talk big about how we were gonna defeat a god. But I don't think there was a man from here to the White March didn't think he was gonna die. It does something to you thinking you're gonna die at someone else's hand. There's a rage that comes, indignation. Imagine a whole country full of that. Must have been Cold Morn that started it. Town near the border. They let the Waiden march right on through. Rest of Deerwood cursed their name till the end of the war. Some say it was the Ethiopians there that persuaded the town not to oppose the army. Others said it was just cowardice. It was the legacy that way. No one knew the real reason. They just picked up whichever one was best suited to what they wanted to believe. Either way, the town was burning before the first ashes of Aethys hit the ground. And it felt good to the people here, be in control of being so helpless. As the fire spread, a lot of us Ethiopians went the way of our god. There were claims from the Church of Migran that she'd actually commanded the purges. I find that hard to believe. It sounded to me like people doing what they wanted, wrapping their god around it, like she was a cloak. And again, that's what I thought about Waiden. So, the only thing I have a question is, like, was Waiden actually Aethys? And, like, is he actually... Because it implies that Aethys is actually dead, and therefore Waiden was actually representative of Aethys and died. I'm not sure if that's what is being said here. I wish I could actually ask, like, hey, is he actually dead for real? It says here... was the legacy that way? Let me go here quickly. The purges, it's eye-opening, see how naked you are when you have the Saints' War. People thought Country that might have been Cold One that started it, time near the border. It led to hunting mercenaries that some say it was the Aethos that persuaded the town not to oppose the army. It was a legacy, it was like the legacy that way. No one knew the real reason, so they just picked the one. Either way, the town was burning before the first ashes of Aethos hit the ground. So he must have died. Okay, that's interesting.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
Yes?
Oh?
That's interesting. I do, that is interesting. I like that a lot.
I have received confirmation that Lord Radric's heir was not born well. My lord has issued an injunction on all new homesteads until he can be assured that the village has been cleansed of all Eothasians and whatever other undesirables that have brought this curse upon his lands. It would be best if you left town as soon as possible. I would suggest returning to your old home. There will be no place for you here. You may stay at the inn until you can make the necessary arrangements, but I would not advise remaining long. I expect Lord Radric will be most thorough in his efforts to purify this place.
My friends are gonna help you. And then you should come, continuing, trust me. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay. My gosh, it's a lot of dialogue. I don't know, I enjoyed that though. I enjoy the dialogue that we have with our companions, you know? It's something I really do enjoy in RPGs.
I haven't been in here for, must be 5-6 years. Used to be real nice. Bright. Warm.
A man lies resting against the wall. What a guy, you know. Like, I don't care. Get out of here, or you're gonna die. Like, okay, sure, man. One arm is held loosely against his side.
Well met, friend.
But like, aha, thought you were some... Never mind. Whoever you are, you've traveled a long way to reach this dark place. The temple isn't what it used to be, probably for the best, times being as they are. I'm no looter, if that's what you're thinking. No one of the faithful either, just wanted to do some good, I suppose. Got my arm clawed up for it. Maybe you'd have better luck. Better luck with what? The ruins around us used to be a temple of Aethys, the scattered god. A grand temple at that. His worshippers came from all over Deerwood, from Radiceris even. Not much from Radiceris these days. Until the war, of course, even though you'd get some stubborn ones, the ones that couldn't get it through their heads that their god was dead and long gone. Is this really a time for history lesson? Once the legacy started, Lord Radric decided he'd been too lenient on the Aethosians. He had his people go on and put them to the sword, left them down here buried under a heap of rock. After that, Radric ordered the temple sealed. It's been years like that, up until recently. Lord Radric hopes that if we rededicate the temple to a living god, then we'll be forgiven and the legacy will end. See? Until then, the temple is as it is. Unguarded, that's where you come in. The priests, maybe they didn't have a lick of sense between them, but they still don't deserve to go out like that. Chopped down in their god's house. Doesn't sit right with me. If you can get down there, you'd find their remains. Maybe we can finally give them a proper burial. No small task. There's coin in it for you if you need motivating. A pleasant surprise to see someone around here. There's a shared respect for the dead. I take it you aren't supposed to be here. Long dead. Wait. You want me to bring some skeletons? I'll bury them where they are, if I could. know, it's a little macabre, but if we don't get them out now, Redrick's liable to destroy what's left of them. I take it you're not supposed to be here? Well, I meant to be in and out, nice and quick. I'm not hurting anyone, it's just Lord Redrick forbidding anyone having anything to do with the Scouted God. It'd be a little harder to explain to him than you. It's for a good cause though, isn't it? And you could make some coin in the process. It's like, isn't it? So I thought. Okay. Yes. What can't you do yourself? Well, I haven't read this place in a long time. Turns out it's something you can just pick up again. Okay. Who are you anyway? Name's Weirton. I lived in Gilded Vale long enough to remember how grand it used to be. I used to help the temple sometimes, bring supplies, that's all. One writer would mind sticking here. I wouldn't go telling him about it, lingering in these places. It's not good for anyone. But you can do this quick and quiet, and we can do right by those priests without raising a fuss. Any chance there's someone down here? Bones? Probably not. Nobody's been here in this place since it was sealed up. Well, apart from me, and I didn't touch anything. Any valuables in there, you get first crack at them. I only ask that you do this favor for me. Questions? Then, what do you say? I'll help them. Then by the flame I owe you a good turn. But listen, the temple's been sealed off for so long, it's crawling with creatures. But if you get past them, the priest would have been down on the lower floor. They'll be there still, if they're still anywhere. The priests have their had all kinds of secret chambers, switches in the walls, tricks, scions, the kind of thing. Keep an eye out and take care down there. I wouldn't want to have to send someone else after your remains. I'll wait here by the stairs and keep a lookout. Maybe try to patch myself up some.
Good day, stranger.
Find anything? We're on a quest.
Finish them!
Nice. We did it, lads. Easy fight. Spiritual residue.
Yes. My blood burns.
My blood burns too.
Yes.
Most incon...
Nice.
Yes.
I really hope there are other combat tracks in this game. Ha! Surprise, surprise, there isn't. This is the only combat track you'll hear for the entire game. So, yeah. I hope you like this one specific track, you know. is gonna get a lot of use out of it. Though this game's music is very good though. Like generally, it's like such a like it instills like so much like
Certainly.
fantasy vibes into its like soundtrack, even though it's not that much. You know, like every time I think of something like fantasy, like the Pillars of Eternity's like main theme like pulls up. It's just that good.
That's it!
Let us end this!
Get him, lads. Like how the dog is just like hanging around, like, oh, okay.
Kinda stuck over here.
Certainly.
Oh. Nearby crystals light, crackle mosaics and shades of orange and a certain strike at the form. Aggressive. Look at the very dust. Who are you? Whisper the wave. You are in the chapter hall. Priests and faithful have gathered around a great crowd, spilling into the great hall. Bodies press against you, surging forward to listen. Your own grief is mirrored in the faces around you. Some of the initiates are weeping. Some people have snuffed the candles and the room is dark, save the podium, lit from behind. Two people stand before it in silhouette, a man shouting, a voice so ragged with fear you cannot understand what he says, but the reciter stays calm, unmoved. Her strength will see you all through the dark times. You feel that hope like a spark behind your ribs. Somewhere behind you, someone begins to sting. The spirit tears itself from your sudden dizzying force, and you find yourself back before the ruined altar swing. The spirit fades suddenly as it appears. The face of the statue has the most features of Spectacles, along with portions of its hand. Nice.
Oh? Oh?
Nice. Dead lads. Oh, more reading. Monster of the Deadfire Archipelago. The Great Eastern Ocean, the Restless Ocean, hundreds of small islands. The travel between the two oceans is virtually impossible. Great storms hammer. Ships with everything. Bob Revenger, a giant shark that is known to ram assassin vessels trying to knock sailors off the deck. Smashed in a hole in the hull. It has tremendous spines protruding from its side and back that it's a winding serpent. Attacks in small packs, usually 3 to 8. Like the Ravager, they repeatedly slam against the side of the ship, hoping to crack a hole in it and knock someone off the desk. They have also been known to swim into the depths. Okay. Leviathan. Imagine the largest whale you've ever seen. The Leviathan is at least 10 times that size. By the time a ship sees the Leviathan, it's already too late. As they rise from the depths, the water around them begins to spin and sink, creating a whirlpool. Leviathan's body surrounds the helpless vessel, preventing escape as it goes down. The enormous mouth opens, pulling all aboard to the watery depths. Pulpover. All the creatures read about in this book are nothing compared to the Pulpover. Barely the size of man. What they lack in size and strength they make up for numbers and terrifying viciousness. The lower halves of the massive tentacles like an octopus or squid, but more numerous. The tentacles are long black whips and suction cups on the inside of the small thorny barbs on the top. The sheer number of tentacles gives them a frightening speed when walking on land, pulling themselves forward almost as fast as a running horse. While they vaguely resemble a human from the waist up, an extended examination proves how wrong the assumption is. Long, stringy black hair from the top of the head to cover a face taken Nightmare. Wine cap in mouth. Oh my gosh, one can imagine a sailor on the deck of the night looking around the black water. Blood freezing as countless lights appear beneath the surface. Small antenna protrudes in the middle of its forehead. Wow. Because they seem to be more octopus than man, they can collapse in on themselves, fitting into spaces no person should be able to. The smallest crack in a hole, the slightest separation between boards offer them an escape and entrance. It is unknown for them to slaughter an entire crew. It's not unknown of them to slaughter an entire crew from hold up to... Okay. Metal! Oh, thank goodness.
Not to alarm you, but I'm slowly dying of poison.
Not to alarm you, but I'm slowly dying of poison.
Certainly.
Yeah. Disgrace, around to employ. A fine sword. Dangerous and ancient druid. Okay. I'm not reading everything. Interesting though. Mass destruction is so good, man, it never gets boring. Mass destruction, is that the name of the combat track? I'm not sure about that. If it is, that is a metal name. It is cool. Nice. Right. When Zoltan's into here, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe you were here for that, but I'll maybe do a poll later, like community post, just asking people like if they would be. Gosh darn it.
My blood burns.
If they'd be cool for a if they'd be cool for a game that me streaming KOTOR, because I think that would be cool, personally.
Certainly.
Oh, that's a lot of them.
Yes. Finish them!
Yes?
Yes.
Aztec bird and rock! That's it!
Persona 3 Reloaded has an extra one if you sneak up on an enemy before combat, and Persona 3 Portable has a whole new one for the female protagonists. Really? Oh, is that what you're talking about? Oh, that sounds cool then. I mean, I definitely like to try the Persona games. Because I hear they're cool. You playing KOTOR would be in fact very cool. Nice, we got it. Because I intended to just stream Pillars of Eternity all the way through, and I still will. Though, like, after I finish, like, some main quest stuff, I'll, like, start playing it by myself offline. You know? Because I know this is going to take a while, and if I keep doing this every single Sunday, it's going to be, like, forever. Until I finish this game. As the haze fills the air, consistently steady into a blur, dust, mist, it gathers into an outline of what appears to be a dwarf, shimmering echo, then fades in and out of sight. But stronger than sight in sense within you, of a powerful energy, it rolls and seethes with a grief that seems to spill into your own thoughts, tainting them until sorrow is your own. Would you do KOTOR light side or dark side? I want to do pragmatic Revan that gets back to the dark side and maybe trains Sith on how to blend in with Jedi instead of in the prequels. Persona games are cool. Persona games are cool. I'm a light side Revan all the way. I just can't be mean, especially how KOTOR does its evil options. They're all pragmatic options, but man, I can't help but just be like, man, I'm so evil in this game. I don't want to be that evil, you know? Like a crashing wave, the energy surges towards and into you, and suddenly you are elsewhere. Before you is a brightly lit stone corridor lined with torches and gleaming crystals. Your running footsteps echoing off the stone around you. You forgot to tie your sandals, and they're slipping from your feet, fouling your steps. So you're late again, and the rites are going to begin without you. You hear a tolling of a bell, and spirits lift as you recognize the familiar, warped torn of the right hand, representing the first of the dawn stars to appear in the night sky, and last to fade in the dawn light. You pray fiercely that this is the first of the chimes and not the last. The light fades as does its memory, and when your eyes clear, the spirit is gone. Buried secrets. Addendum. Huh. Okay, wait. I've seen some manner of spirits within temple or memory. At least in this memory I recalled an Ethiopian rite involving the ringing of bells. The first and last of these tolls apparently is at the right hand, which is as a distinctive warped tone to it. Yeah, KOTOR seems to be a kick the puppy type of evil game, seems, but I could be wrong. I mean, that's from what I remember, right? But like, that kind of fits because,
Certainly.
you know, you're playing a Sith. And the Sith aren't particularly like morally grey, you know. They're very like clearly about power and wanting to consume power above anything else, you know. So like, I don't think it's bad per se. Hold on, I'm gonna. Gosh, I'm not even common to use that. Fast speed.
I shall make it so. It's done.
Nice. More books, my favorite. Oh wow. That's a lot of books. Buried secrets. The door to the lower floors appear to be sealed with some enchantments. There's a set of bells beside the door which may play a part in the opening. Okay, the three bells hung from this stone protrusion that run along this wall. Years of dust and grime coat the metal. There's one larger bell at the center, flanked by two smaller ones. Okay, hold on. Let me read that again. Primarily, the first and last of these tolls apparently is the first and last of these tolls apparently the right hand, which is a distinctive warped tone. Only involving the ringing of bells. The ringing of bells. The first and last of these tolls. So the first and last. So like left. Ring the left smaller bell. Ring the right smaller bell. Ring the middle large bell. I think, I mean, yeah, right. Like when you think about it, George Lucas kind of like was a bit weird with it, because it's like, okay, George, so you have like a good side that's permanently good, and then it's like, oh yeah, the good side wants to suppress your emotions and prevent you from doing anything like love and stuff. Like, okay, cool, a fundamental basic human emotion, cool. And the Sith are like, want to be passionate, but to the self-sufficient extreme, where it's only about them and no one else. Like, okay, George, okay, that sounds cool. Are you gonna do anything with that? And like, no. He kind of does something with it in the prequels, but that's not much, you know. So yeah. Yeah, the Sith and Jedi, but I think that could be cool if it's more intentional than it was. Yeah, the Sith, or at least like it was more like the dichotomy like came to a conclusion, you know, where it didn't just stick to like Jedi being good and Sith being bad. Yeah, the Sith and Jedi may have been more simple during the time before Star Wars really went into making the two sides more grey. Did the prequels already come out before KOTOR? Yeah, I believe so. I don't think all of them came out. I think the prequels were out though. Like, I think Clone Wars was out when KOTOR came out. I'm not sure though. When did Star Wars Revenge of the Sith come out? Sith release. I know this is the first one release date. Hmm. 12 years ago, that's 5 to... Well, like 2003, and KOTOR came out, like, yeah, it came out. It came out with, yeah. But I never understood the boners. Some have the Sith like they're evil, in their simple nuance. Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Like, a lot of people like the Sith because they're just like straight up evil. It's like the campy evil. Like you're cool. It's kind of charming in a way, you know. Also, Clone Wars is hosted, and Obi-Wan undercover arc was so good, goated. Yeah, no, I agree with it. I absolutely loved the Obi-Wan like undercover arc. Absolutely adored that. And especially, I adored the bit where Obi-Wan then Anakin confronts Obi-Wan saying like, hey, that was very unfair of you to just like fool me entirely. Like, yeah, sure, your plan was to make me believe, but like, this is not right. You know, that was not right of me to do. And right of you to do. The Last Jedi does the Jedi bit a bit differently than the rest of the saga. The Last Jedi is my personal favorite. Yeah, I mean, I like The Last Jedi a lot as well, you know. I don't think maybe as much as the other ones, like the older ones or the prequel ones. That could just be nostalgia speaking. But I do think that what The Last Jedi was doing was quite interesting. I'm talking about the 3D TV series. Yeah. Okay. The bells feel they are made of thick iron and are very heavy. They don't appear too much out of ordinary. Piercing the start and the power, the tone echoes merely through the holes until it seems it doesn't, chirping. Feel that grows so painfully shrill. I heave at the bell as it swings back and low, in your chest. Yeah, okay. So in this memory, I recalled an Ethesian rite involving the ringing of bells. The first and last of these tolls, apparently it is the right hand which has a distinctive warp tone. The first and last these tolls are apparent.
I shall make it so.
Yes. Unless it's supposed to be like a duh, 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 duh. No. Makes sense. I mean, the future Star Wars stuff just must ignore the Force, and I'm glad for it. Oh yeah, I really do like The Mandalorian. I haven't seen Andor, but I like to see it, you know. Okay, how does this work? Okay, so it's like, I'm gonna have to guess, aren't I? Nope. Okay. And it says here, in these memories, I recall an Ethiopian rite involving ringing of the bells. The first and last these tolls apparently. Oh, okay. So well, okay. Wait a minute. Okay. Now, okay. So the first is this, that, then this, right? There you go. I'm a genius. I'm very smart. I didn't have trouble with that at all. There's a quiet melodic chime from all three bells before they dissonant meet in one powerful rising rush of sound. It seems to fill the whole temple, driving for the song. As the tolling fades, you hear a crack for direction of the door as the passage opens low. Yeah! I'm a genius.
Certainly.
I'm very smart. I did not struggle with that at all. Nor misunderstand it. There's reminds me of the jug. Yeah, but the jug puzzle I could at least follow because like the text was a lot more easy. Okay, you know what? Actually, I'm blaming. No, it's just my fault. I didn't read the text properly. Ender is so good, you have no idea. I mean, I don't have an idea. I haven't seen it though. Though I'd like to see it though.
Well, it's strange looking back. All the time I spent here growing up, never seeing what was coming.
Oh, there's a shadow. Oh wait, hold on.
Yes.
Nice, we
Certainly.
defeated a literal shadow. Congrats, boys. We did it. Resident Evil puzzle, yeah. I can't understand this Resident Evil puzzle. It's so dumb. Oh, I should have read it. Never mind. Never mind. Nice. I love it when my health's critically low on story mode. Man, I'm so glad I didn't play this on... I'm glad I didn't play this on I'm glad I didn't play this on a harder difficulty, okay? I would be dead. So fast, so often.
How may I help?
Laugh while we be on seek. These uns are in for a whopping.
Let us end this!
Companions need more banter in this game, it seems. Yeah, this game doesn't have as much banter as in like most Bioware games, which is, again, is just an Obsidian thing. Obsidian doesn't really do much with the companions. Persona 4 mentioned. Persona mentioned. Jazz music. That sounds like Persona music to me. I'm in on it. I know. I'm hip with the references. Oh my gosh, why are there so many shadows? Betrayed, what do you mean?
How may I help?
Architect Worth and...
Nice. I did it.
Certainly.
I'm a gaming genius. I also should have
Yes.
used that. No. I need a healer. I really need that. It's not within the nature to forgive those who seek redemption, seek a long and winding path, a road which takes us down into the very hollows of our souls and asks us to reflect upon and factor it as ourselves. Nice. And I love how the dog is just like chilling, like, oh, okay, sure thing, buddy.
Yes.
Yes?
Certainly. I can get it to spill its secrets. It's done.
What if I... Hold on. Let me check that. As a Bioware fan, I enjoyed Persona games a lot because there's 60% dating sims. I mean, yeah, right. Isn't
Yes.
that the dream of every Bioware fan, to just have a dating simulator? Sounds reasonable to me. I hate when my dating simulator gets interrupted by gameplay and plot. What do you mean I have to enjoy this like plot and this like jazz music? I mean Persona music. Gosh darn it. Giant chest in the center.
Yes.
Okay. No!
Certainly. Oh?
Yes?
Arthek, Worth, and Roth!
Wow.
Certainly.
Fuck. Okay.
Yes?
Stay back, my character.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah, sure, man.
How may I help?
A cloak of an Ethosian priest. What cloak do I have? Yeah, that's fine. You can have that. Since, you know, you're a priest and all. Not priest, but you know. I prefer Fukoa. Yuko is cute one. When reloaded. Man, I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but they sound cool. Oh wow. Knock the spirit down.
How may I help?
Oh, he's out of spell slots. Ray fire. Wait. There we go.
Yes.
My knee!
I?
I fucking died. No. Okay, well that's where we're gonna end, okay? I'm not bothering going through all of that again. We're gonna end there. It's been a fun stream. It's been grand. We're gonna pick this up later. Man. It's been a fun stream, guys. I've had my fill. Hold on. No, Knight, it's pronounced Fukoa. Fukoa? Okay, whenever I play Persona, okay, I'll get it right, okay? But for now, not now. We're discussing Persona 3 romance options. I mean, what else would you be discussing? Sounds cool, though. The only Persona character I thought was very interesting was there was this one character, I think they were a robot. I was like, yeah, dating a robot? That sounds cool. I like that. I don't know, how fair. I don't know, I played both first and Reloaded in Japanese voice. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to do that, okay? To me, I just can't understand it. I mean, obviously I can't understand it. I just can't, like, necessarily, like, get into it. So, Trinity. Man, the more and more I play Blizzardton, the more I'm like, I'm gonna cheat. I want to cheat. Aegis is the robot. Yeah, I think she's cool. That from what I've seen about her, I think she's cool. But anyways, I'm done. I'm not gonna go through all of that again. It's late for me, and I think it's been a nice stream so far. Making sure I saved again. Yep, I did. Cool. We're gonna finish this another time. Aegis is a sweetheart. I mean, from what I've seen, she is. I love it. Just so great. Hey. I think we're on familiar ground, you know. I think you and I are in hand agreeing on robots being cool. Gosh, I wish Legion was a woman. Gosh, I wish Legion was a woman. And romanceable. That would have been made. Oh, you have no idea how much that would have made my day. Just going like, oh, like Legion is both a woman and B romanceable. I mean, like, I'm sorry, guys. I think I've met my match. You know. Oh yeah, you guys have a pet with you. Yeah. Though she isn't here with me now. Ooh, close program. Okay. Anyways, guys, thanks for the stream. It's been real. And a turn and a Geth Terrier. Now that's a phrase I didn't think I would hear. Okay, that's a phrase that I didn't think I would think about. But no, yeah. Thank you all for the stream. It's been wonderful. A Turian indeed. Why would you romance a Turian? Because they're cool. That's why. Like, what other reason do I need to be? Okay, why do people romance Liara? Okay, part of it is because she's an alien. You know, I think that's a huge reason why people romance Liara, because she's partly an alien, not just because of her personality. Obviously, it's important, right? Nad loves Turian girls. I love Turian girls. Like, you have no idea. I remember the first time I saw Vetra, I was literally so giddy. I was like, oh my gosh. Which, anyways, see you guys. Thanks to the stream, closing channel, on Pillars. See ya on Pillars. On the Pillars of Eternity. Very true. Next time on Pillars of Eternity, watch my subpar gameplay as I struggle to beat low-level enemies on story mode. Dragon Ball Z. Anyways, have a nice time, guys. Thanks to the stream. And anyone who's watching the VOD, thanks. Hi. I hope you enjoyed my subpar